Today's news highlights 20250912. Date September 12, 2025. Republic of China September 12, 114. Time cutoff point, 1500 hours on the same day. News highlights. Japanese physician Mitsuji Shujoka pointed out that drinking a glass of warm plain water at about 50 degrees in the morning can improve mild dehydration, promote blood circulation and reduce cardiovascular and cerebrovascular risks. If lemon juice is added, it can detoxify, aid digestion, promote metabolism and beautify the skin, and prevent arteriosclerosis. Experts say this method is simple and effective, suitable for daily health preservation. News highlights. Studies have shown that walking speed can reflect health status, and slow walking is associated with cardiovascular disease, sarcopenia, and other problems, with a 44% higher risk of death. Conversely, a faster pace improves metabolism, reduces the risk of inflammation and arrhythmias, strengthens the cardiovascular system, and prolongs life. Experts recommend walking briskly or using fragmented time to accelerate activities and accumulate health benefits. News highlights. Charlie Kirk, an American conservative activist and an important ally of Trump, was shot and killed while giving a speech at Utah Valley University on the 10th. Trump mourned Kirk as a martyr of truth and freedom and ordered the flag to be flown at half-mast for 4 days across the United States, emphasizing that he would promote a more comprehensive plan to combat political violence. News highlights. CCP hackers recently impersonated the Epoch Times to send threatening emails to the White House and show off screenshots of receipts, intending to frame the Epoch Times. The newspaper has received at least 47 threatening letters since May last year. Editor-in-Chief Huang Wangqing strongly condemned this move as a vicious impersonation incident and called on the FBI to thoroughly investigate and bring the perpetrators to justice. News highlights. China's job market will fall into a downturn in 2025, and many industries will be hit hard. The catering industry is facing a wave of bankruptcies, with takeaway fever subsiding and high costs leading to a sharp decline in profits. Although new energy vehicles in the automobile industry are popular, competition is fierce, traditional fuel vehicle inventory is backlogged, and the wave of layoffs has intensified. The infant industry collapsed due to the declining birth rate, and the sales of milk powder and maternal and infant products were cut in half. The photovoltaic industry is in a cold winter, 15 people are unemployed, and leading companies suffer huge losses. Real estate is showing signs of collapse. Housing prices in first-tier cities have fallen back to 2016 levels, and it is still difficult to reverse the decline in the relaxation of purchase restrictions. News highlights. Bowel tipping not only affects quality of life, but may also increase the risk of colorectal cancer, cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases, and even be associated with depression. In medical terms, it is generally defined as having fewer than 3 bowel movements a week accompanied by pain. Prevention methods include eating regularly, supplementing dietary fiber, such as beans, sweet potatoes, seaweed, drinking plenty of water, drinking water first when you wake up in the morning, and exercising moderately to promote intestinal peristalsis. In addition, it is equally important to maintain a relaxed mood to avoid worsening constipation due to anxiety. News highlights. Studies have shown that dietary fiber not only contributes to gut and cardiovascular health, but is also associated with a reduced risk of dementia. The University of Tsukuba in Japan followed thousands of adults for a long time and found that those who consumed soluble fiber, such as oats and beans, had a significantly lower risk of dementia. Experts speculate that fiber protects brain function by regulating gut flora and reducing nerve inflammation. Developing a high-fiber diet may be an important strategy to prevent degenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's disease. News highlights. Vascular sclerosis is an important cause of cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases, and eating more green vegetables can help soften blood vessels. Experts recommend consuming 300-500 grams of vegetables per day, preferably divided into 3-5 kinds, for more balanced nutrition. Simple 312 matching method: 200-250 grams of dark green vegetables, 70-80 grams of mushrooms, and 130-170 grams of other vegetables. Tomatoes are rich in lycopene and vitamin C, and are regarded as anti-hypertensive stars, and it is recommended to eat 100-150 grams per day, which is effective when eaten raw or cooked in soup. News highlights. The latest research from Stanford Medical School shows that each human organ has a biological age that can independently reflect the rate of aging. An analysis of 4.4 samples found that if there is premature aging of more than 8 organs, the risk of death is as high as 8.3 times. On the contrary, people with younger immune systems and brains live longer. Premature aging of different organs is highly correlated with diseases, such as premature heart failure, kidney disease. Premature lung failure is related to COPD. Studies have also found that smoking and alcohol abuse are common in people with premature lung and liver failure, while exercise, nutritional supplements, and hormone therapy are associated with the frozen age of some organs. Experts remind that healthy habits should be accumulated from a young age to delay organ aging. News highlights. Apple released the iPhone 17 and Apple Watch Ultra 3, triggering a wave of replacements. JP Morgan Chase & Co. raised iPhone 17 shipments to 9,400 units in the second half of the year, and Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley are optimistic about the benefits of supply chains such as TSMC, Largan, and Honhai. iPhone 17 front and rear camera upgrades. Apple Watch Ultra 3 supports satellite communication and long-term battery life, and the market is looking forward to sales performance. News highlights: generative AI is rapidly penetrating white-collar workplaces, from translation, copywriting, analysis to design, and may replace professional workers. In the face of challenges, professionals should turn to value creation, collaborate with AI, and cultivate critical thinking, strategic judgment, and cross-disciplinary abilities in order to remain competitive in the AI era and transform from a replaced person to a leader in the new era. News highlights: OpenAI signed a 5-year, $300 billion computing power contract with Oracle, the largest transaction in AI history, and Oracle's stock price soared 36% in response, surpassing JP Morgan Chase's market capitalization. Server providers such as Honhai and MetaC will benefit. The contract, which takes effect in 2027, is a high-risk gamble for both parties, but it is expected to drive significant growth in Oracle's cloud business. News highlights: the Financial Supervisory Commission conducted a stress test on 38 national banks and the entire life insurance industry, and as a result, 3 banks and 5 life insurance companies did not pass the test and had to propose capital increase or asset liability improvement plans. The overall banking and insurance industry capital still meets the statutory standards, indicating that the financial system is resilient to sufficient pressure, and even if the impact of Trump tariffs and the financial tsunami scenario is included, the overall risk is controllable. News highlights: Wagyu announced that it will not launch new cases in 2026 and continue its reduction business strategy, mainly due to the cold housing market, sluggish buying sentiment and policy restrictions. Most builders in the industry have also adopted a wait-and-see attitude, postponing projects or suspending land purchases to control supply and reduce sales costs, and Zhuangbei is still a relatively stable market. News highlights: Tesla predicts mass production of the humanoid robot Optimus V3 in 2026, with an annual production target of 1 million units, with flexibility comparable to that of humans. Taiwan's supply chain benefited, including Alliance providing joint reducer modules and Yagwang providing lens sensors, which will participate in the supply of key components to support the large-scale production and application of Tesla robots. News highlights: the Kinmen Sports Association was originally scheduled to hold the Kinmen Triathlon Challenge and the Kinmen Cup Cross-Strait Martial Arts Carnival, but because the chairman and a number of cadres were counselors, they applied for subsidies from the county government and did not disclose their identities in accordance with the Public Officials Conflict of Interest Avoidance Act. The Supervisory Yuan is expanding its investigation, and it is suspected that there are dozens of similar cases pending investigation across the country. News highlights: Lieutenant General Liu Qingbin, Director of Political Warfare of the Navy Command, retired from the Army on October 1, and was taken over by Rear Admiral Lin Chuancheng, Director of Political Warfare of the Naval Command Department, and promoted to Lieutenant General. The Political Warfare Directors of the Ship Command Department and the Land Command Department also changed new personnel on the same day. This personnel change is the first case in the history of naval political warfare, all of which are taken office by novices, causing internal doubts that the new Navy and novices are shaky when they take office, which may affect the political warfare system and the promotion of military combat power. News highlights: if the public purchases more than the quantity of cotton swabs, bandages, and other medical equipment online for their own use or without legal permission, they may violate the Medical Device Management Act and face high fines or even criminal liability. The Food and Drug Administration reminds that when purchasing medical materials, you must pay attention to the quantity, grade, and legal channels, and confirm the license number to avoid illegal online purchases, resale, or sub-packaging. News highlights: he said that the political philosophy is similar but he cannot agree with the meat search behavior, which caused fans to criticize the different attitude when talking about the curator. News highlights: he posted a long article to clarify, emphasizing that all discussions involving sex were proposed by students with sex or sexual relationships as the creative theme, and he only assisted in the analysis of the script, did not engage in any sexual contact or invitation, and announced the timeline of the incident and the evidence to clear himself, expressing his willingness to accept legal and administrative investigations. News highlights: internet celebrity four-pronged cat caused manufacturers to cut because they ridiculed K Wen's for locking up for a year and not seeing his father for the last time. Zhang Jiakun supported the four-pronged cat and said that the dumplings 10,000 taels were selling well. Chen Yi retorted that the fan spending power was low and the group purchase had been withdrawn, criticizing Zhang Jiakun for having no evidence and condemning the four-pronged cats. Inappropriate political remarks. News highlights: U18 World Cup Baseball Super Round, Chinese Taipei lost 1-8 to South Korea. Head coach Liao Hongyuan did not go to the pitcher's mound to comfort him when he changed Zhou Yin in the bottom of the 6th inning, and directly handed the ball to the next pitcher, which caused criticism from netizens. News highlights: the U.S. House of Representatives passed a new version of the National Defense Authorization Act, increasing the military budget for Taiwan from $300 million to $1 billion, and promoting joint military cooperation between Taiwan and the United States and the Rim of the Pacific military exercise. Congressman Taylor Greene, who opposes military aid to Taiwan, proposed amendments that were rejected, demonstrating the United States' firm stance on supporting Taiwan. News highlights: the Customs Administration of the Ministry of Finance announced that if the public reports illegal laundering of goods in the free trade zone and provides specific evidence, they will receive a bonus after being seized, with a maximum of NT $480 per case. Customs will continue to adopt measures of strict prevention in advance, strict investigation during the event, and severe punishment afterwards to protect the goodwill and economic and trade interests of China's exports. News highlights: Taiwan's Academia Sinica will release its self-developed 5-bit superconducting quantum computer in 2024 and build the first quantum chip process and test platform in China. The computing power of quantum computers far exceeds that of traditional computers, and in the future, it will be combined with semiconductor processes to promote mass production of quantum system chips. With its wafer manufacturing advantages, Taiwan is expected to become a global quantum chip foundry hub. News highlights: Kirk, a 31-year-old conservative political star in the United States, was shot and killed while giving a speech at Utah Valley University. Expert Chen Chongguang pointed out that the United States did not learn the lessons of Trump's attack, and the security deployment of the commanding heights was seriously insufficient, leading to a repeat of the incident. Trump condemned the violence and ordered the flag to be lowered to half-mast across the United States, vowing to thoroughly investigate the masterminds behind it. News highlights: in the first half of this year, the most prevalent drug in China was the third-class drug Miao Miao, with 7,073 cases. Followed by ketamine, methamphetamine, heroin, marijuana, etc. In addition, zombie smoke bombs etomidate flowed into Taiwan, often leading to drug-driving accidents and seriously threatening public order. News highlights: the riots in Nepal have killed at least 22 people, many Taiwanese have been trapped, flights have been grounded and unable to return to Taiwan, and some people have complained about the ineffective assistance of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs responded that it will humbly review and continue to follow up, call on the public to avoid going to conflict areas, and provide the representative office in India and emergency contact center phone numbers for help. News highlights: US President Trump has imposed a 20% temporary tariff on Taiwanese goods since August, and the two sides continue to negotiate. US Secretary of Commerce Lutnick revealed that the United States and Taiwan are about to reach a major agreement, but did not disclose details. In 2024, the United States will import $116 billion from Taiwan, with a deficit of $740 billion, making Taiwan the sixth largest trade deficit partner of the United States. News highlights: functional physician Lou Boren reminded that traditional breakfasts such as egg pancakes with milk tea, fried dough sticks with soy milk, fried dough sticks with pork floss rice balls, and sweet bread with coffee contain high oil, sugar, or trans fat, which may lead to the three highs and obesity. It is recommended to choose tea eggs with unsweetened soy milk or grilled fish with 5-grain rice, and maintain a healthy diet 80% of the time to reduce long-term health risks. News highlights: Red star Tang Lanhua in the 70s recently accepted an exclusive interview to share the twists and turns of her life. She was divorced after paying off more than 20 million debts for her ex-husband Ying Jiadong, and was betrayed by relatives and friends 3 times. Tang Lanhua said that choosing to forgive gives her peace of mind and regards setbacks as life trials. News highlights: American conservative commentator and Trump ally Kirk was shot dead while giving a speech at Utah Valley University on the 10th. The FBI found the suspected gun and released photos of the suspect, offering a $10 reward for clues. Trump announced the posthumous award of the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Kirk, praising him as a defender of freedom. The bullet is engraved with transgender and anti-fascist messages, and the police are investigating the motive. News highlights: Korean King GD, Kwan's Hailong, announced that he will hold an encore concert at the Taipei Dome for 2 consecutive days on November 1st and 2nd. The news was announced by the official tour website, and it will debut immediately after the Paris show in September, and will return after 3 shows at the Taipei Arena in July, which makes fans look forward to it. News highlights: Actress Lulu Huang Luzian and Chen Handian announced their marriage today, 11th, shocking both inside and outside the circle. The two once performed a safe kiss and a fake wedding in the variety show hit program, and now the clip has been recalled by fans, and the dramatic program scene has unexpectedly come true, witnessing the positive results of the 12-year hosting friendship. News highlights: Actress Zhang Zuping accused Sanli's deputy general manager Gong Yiting of dropping her heart medicine as a sedative and sexually assaulting her, and was secretly photographed. Zhang Zuping and his lawyer went to the Shilin District Prosecutor's Office on the 11th to file a complaint, and the prosecution has divided the case into investigations, and Gong Yiting will face judicial proceedings. Sanli Vice President Gong Maifu resigned, and Zhang Zuping said that he would be handed over to a lawyer and believed that the judiciary would restore the truth. News highlights: Artist Chen Handian and Lulu Huang Luzian announced their marriage yesterday, 11th, and the news shocked the entertainment industry in his hometown of Zhonghua Fangyuan Kahu. The two were promoted from screen partners to life partners, happily sharing the good news. Chen Handian was born into a legal family, his grandfather was a judge, his father was a clerk, and relatives and friends in his hometown also sent blessings, looking forward to him returning to his hometown to have fun with the villagers. News highlights: mainland actor Yu Hazy became popular because of 3 Lives, 3 Worlds, and 10 Miles of Peach Blossoms, and was named Costume Male God, and yesterday, 11th, he fell to his death at the age of 37. Yu Hazy debuted in 2013 with Happy Boys, and then appeared in many costume dramas to accumulate popularity, but he was frozen for 3 years for refusing unspoken rules. News highlights: National Grandpa Admiralty actor Lin Yuxiang passed away yesterday, 9th, at the age of 90. Li Shehen, who once played the father of ancient tea girl in Liu Binghua, mourned and mourned, saying that Lin Yuxiang was down-to-earth and sincere, honest in private, and had outstanding dedication in his acting career. News highlights: mainland actor Yu Hao fell to his death yesterday, 11th, and the studio confirmed the death and said that the police ruled out criminal suspicion. The screen window at the scene was damaged and there were scratches on the window below, causing netizens to question his motive for suicide and called on the police to investigate the surveillance cameras and fingerprints to clarify the truth. News highlights: in late September 2025, Taurus long-term investment and workplace performance can bring dividends and performance bonuses. Leo shows leadership and charm, and has opportunities for promotion, salary increase, and cooperation. Sagittarius can seize opportunities to get rich through cross-border cooperation and investment, but they need to rationally assess risks. News highlights: the Taipei Mansion roundabout will be demolished in the early morning of September 13th, and the bus underpass will be filled in 2 phases, and then the roundabout will be demolished, with a construction period of about 2 months. 1.1 cubic meters of concrete were poured into the construction, and the safety of the MRT Green Line was monitored simultaneously. During the period, it is recommended that the public take the MRT to commute instead, and Beijing will provide a 70% discount on fares during some periods. News highlights: recently, with the rise of Chinese Douyin troops, Taiwanese netizens used the names or homonyms of politicians such as Quiet Screen to challenge the live broadcast rules, forcing the anchor to pronounce the sensitive word Xi Jinping, which was embarrassing and caused dissatisfaction among Little Pink. Douyin officials urgently restricted relevant interaction methods and stopped some group broadcasts and dance live broadcasts, which unexpectedly allowed Taiwanese netizens to successfully reverse the united front. News highlights: Taipei City Councilor Chen Yuzhen is suspected of fraudulently receiving 384 yuan in assistant fees by using relatives and friends as heads, and accepting bribes of 70 yuan from builders to pressure the city government, and was involved in a total of 454 yuan in corruption with Office Director Zhang Huilin. After being detained in February this year and postponed by the Shilin District Court, the High Court today ruled that Chen Yuzhen and Zhang Huilin should be released on bail of 100 yuan and 50 yuan respectively, and restrictions on exit, residence, and electronic monitoring and registration. News highlights: K clearly expressed his support for retaining the 2-year clause without zoning, believing that this design is beneficial to small parties to find talents, and discussed the layout of the 2026 election campaign, and the party's internal procedures will be adjusted according to the current members and the willingness of the nomination. News highlights: a woman surnamed Chu in Taichung mistakenly believed that a fraud group invested in virtual currency, and lost more than 400 yuan in 3 face-to-face exchanges. Fortunately, the police arrested the driver within 20 minutes and seized drugs and contraband, and the whole case was sent for fraud, public danger, hit and run, and drug crimes. The police reminded the public to report to the police and not to lynch themselves. News highlights: the water tower on the top floor of a community building in Wenshan District, Taipei City, found a male decomposed body today, 11th, suspected of drowning due to a broken ladder, and died for more than 2 to 3 days. About 50 residents in the community panicked and worried that the water source would be contaminated. Forensic Dr. Gao Dachin recommends boiling water to sterilize it to avoid health risks. News highlights: after the former chairman K. Wenz paid 7,000 yuan in bail, he recently had a one-on-one long talk with party chairman Huang Qiuakang, clearly stating that it is right to insist on the 2-year clause. Huang Qiuakang revealed that K also discussed the layout of the 2026 election campaign, and if no one challenges the current lawmakers, they will be given priority in nomination. News highlights: the government has relaxed the new Ching'an project, and first-time buyers can apply for a mortgage of up to 1,000 yuan, but the average approved loan is only 772 yuan, and the interest rate has risen to 2.5% in the bank appraisal gap, so the self-prepared funds must still be sufficient. Experts remind that policy subsidies will only be available until July next year, and the burden will increase after the grace period ends. First-time buyers should prepare at least 30% of their own funds and make good use of non-traditional channels such as life insurance, farmers associations, or digital banks to obtain preferential loans. News highlights: Xiaolun, a well-known nightclub tycoon in Taipei, and his ex-wife Huang Liana Ying divorced in 2021, but in recent years they have exchanged fire many times due to financial, parent-child, and reputational issues. Recently, netizens accused Xiaolun of cheating in marriage on Threads and released photos of mistresses. Huang Liana Ying said that she focused on taking care of her children, did not comment much on her ex-husband's behavior, and had obtained a protection order, and filed a lawsuit against her for defamation and defamation through her lawyer, but Xiaolun has not yet responded. News highlights the Kuomintang chairman election will be held on October 18, and the vote will be collected from September 15 to 19, and the election is heating up. After Zhu Liilun was not re-elected and Liu Zihuan declined to run for election, the party formed a quarter-final scuffle. Online polls show that Zhang Yazhong temporarily ranked first with 24.7% support, followed by Zhang Luan, Zhou Boiwan, and Li Hanshong, and the rest of the candidates lagged behind in terms of support. News highlights Chinese actor Yu Hazy fell to his death on September 11, and the studio confirmed the death and said that the police had ruled out criminal suspicion. However, netizens raised a number of doubts about the cause of death, including scratches outside the window, cut marks on the screen, and factors such as his fear of heights and rising career during his lifetime, raising questions about the possibility of homicide or coercion. The incident is still pending further investigation and explanation by the police to clarify the truth. News highlights the city government strengthened control and required earth-moving vehicles to install GPS, and 12 treatment plants suspended soil collection, resulting in the suspension of many construction projects. The industry pointed out that there are not enough legal landfills, and there is nowhere to remove the remaining soil, and they hope that the city government will help expand the treatment capacity. News highlights Lulu and Chen Handian announced their marriage without warning on the 11th, skipping the love recognition stage and detonating fans' surprises. Looking back on the interaction between the two in Kangxi is coming 14 years ago, Lulu called herself the female version of Chen Handian and called the other party a stage idol. News highlights the second-hand price of domestic trendy toy bubble mart Labubu has plummeted, and the hidden model that was once speculated to 10,000 yuan can now only be purchased at half price, and the transaction price of the whole box has fallen by more than 50%. Scalpers wailed that no one took over, some acquisitions were suspended, and the market bubble quietly burst, while the company considered adjusting production and product diversity to maintain market health. News highlights Line's official account service messages sent users Apple or Google account settings reminders yesterday, and many people mistakenly thought it was a fraudulent message. Line clarified that this is an official seasonal account health check reminder, and it is recommended to complete the settings to ensure account security and is not fraudulent. News highlights recently, there are two stocks in Taiwan stocks that can be publicly subscribed for by lottery, namely Power KY, 6591, 9/10/9/12, and Quanta Sun Company Daming, 4585, 9/16/9/18. The underwriting price of Daming is 238 yuan, and the emerging price has rushed to 709 yuan, with a potential price difference of up to about 47.1 yuan. The underwriting price of Power KY is 62 yuan, with a price difference of about 2.65 yuan. Although the lottery cost is low, there are still risks such as stock price fluctuations and the lack of a honeymoon period after listing, so investment needs to be cautious. News highlights encouraged by the decline in U.S. inflation, U.S. stocks rose across the board on Thursday, with the Dow Jones breaking through 46,000 points for the first time, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq also hitting new highs, and Taiwan stocks closed higher for 4 consecutive days, led by TSMC and Mediatek, but most stocks performed flatly, and funds were concentrated in AI concept stocks. The market is concerned about the Federal Reserve's 9/18 interest rate decision, and Taiwan stocks may face volatility in the short term, so investors are advised to reduce their weight in weak stocks and reserve cash. News highlights this month. It was reported that the Japanese startup semiconductor manufacturer Rapidus is ahead of Intel in the 2nm process and can challenge TSMC, but Taiwanese semiconductor equipment agent Konghio Group pointed out that Rapidus is still in the trial production stage, the yield rate is unknown, and it is still far from mass production, so it needs to be continuously observed. In recent years, Konghio has successfully introduced Taiwan's supply chain to the Japanese market, helping Taiwanese factories expand their overseas semiconductor business. News highlights Lulu, Huang Luzian, announced her marriage to Chen Handian on the 11th, and the news immediately sparked heated discussions on the internet. The day before, she still appeared on the show to interact with Xiao Huangqi and play games, smiling and relaxed, and now the good news has been released. She said that the two are full of tacit understanding and decided to spend their future life together without any mischief. News highlights Delta Electronics, 2308, has become a big winner in Taiwan stocks due to strong demand for AI servers, with a stock price of 430 yuan to 837 yuan at the end of last year, with an interest-bearing return of nearly 96%. Petty bourgeoisie can indirectly benefit from ETFs with high shareholding ratios, among which Nomura Taiwan New Technology 50,00935, holds 10.41% of Delta shares, and its stock price has risen by 18.33% this year, with an ex-dividend of 0.75 yuan per unit on September 16, making it a popular choice for participating in Delta's market. News highlights Nebius was signed by Microsoft on a $19.4 billion multi-year contract, and its stock price soared 50% in a single day. Nebius provides AI cloud supercomputer rental, allowing enterprises to rent NVIDIA's GPU computing power on demand without the need to build expensive equipment. Behind it is the strategic investment support of NVIDIA, making Nebius a new force in global AI infrastructure, highlighting the continued high demand for AI computing power. News highlights U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick said he would reach a major agreement with Taiwan, which is expected to reduce the current temporary reciprocal tariffs by 20% and improve Section 232 treatment. The Economic and Trade Office of the Executive Yuan pointed out that progress has been made between the two sides and still needs to be discussed in a summary manner, hoping to reduce the impact on the industry and strengthen Taiwan's economic and trade relations through the agreement. News highlights studies have pointed out that long-term intake of ultra-processed foods, such as instant noodles, instant food, sausages, and desserts, may damage the intestinal flora and cause chronic inflammation, and free radicals produced by high-temperature processing can also damage brain cells and increase the risk of dementia and Parkinson's disease. Nutritionists recommend switching to prototype foods, 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, paired with olive oil and deep-sea fish, and supplementing with probiotics and dietary fiber to maintain brain and gut health. News highlights Agility Robotics, an AI robot company under Neng Rate 8071, has received strategic investment from NVIDIA, and the two parties will cooperate to expand the global AI robot market. The news inspired the stock price of Neng to jump up and down, and the group's related stocks such as IKKAKY, Neng Rate Netcom and Canon also rose simultaneously. Agility focuses on bipedal robot development, with product lines covering Cassie and Digit, and customers including Amazon and GXO. Energy has invested about $1,000 this year and cooperated with Canon to develop vision modules to lay out the humanoid robot and drone markets, and it is expected that the proportion of revenue will gradually increase in 2026-2027. News highlights Internet celebrity I am a father, I don't want to be a father due to the central bank's housing policy. The original pre-sale house in Xindian can be loaned 70%, but now it can only be loaned 30%. The total price of this house is 6,128 yuan, which is a high-priced residence, and it is difficult to get rid of it in the short term due to loan restrictions and market wait and see. Internet celebrities said that if they do not sell smoothly, they will continue to work hard to fulfill their dream of buying a house 4 years ago. News highlights a man surnamed Lin in Taichung was notified by the bank that his account was frozen by the Ministry of Justice due to non-payment of deed tax, and at first he thought he had encountered fraud. After investigation, it was found that the transfer of the house was not completed after the original deed tax was declared, and the owner resold the house to others and completed the registration, resulting in a situation of one house for two sales. Mr. Lin's deed tax declaration was overdue and was transferred for compulsory enforcement. With the assistance of the Inland Revenue Bureau, he completed the revocation of the declaration and the seizure order was lifted. The Tax Bureau reminds that if the transfer cannot be completed, you should apply for revocation of the deed tax as soon as possible to avoid account freezing and credit damage. News highlights the high temperature and humidity in summer can easily lead to summer burnout or summer-type seasonal mood disorder, which manifests as fatigue, restlessness, insomnia, loss of appetite, and low mood. The main causes include decreased serotonin, poor sleep quality, and reduced social activities. It is recommended to adjust your work and rest, stay cool, hydrate, exercise moderately, and seek professional help if necessary to maintain physical and mental health. News highlights Taiyuan, Shaanxi, China, and Shijiazhuang, Hebei Province, experienced thunderstorm asthma after recent thunderstorms, and hospitals received more than 400 people in a short period of time, mostly children, pregnant women, and young and middle-aged people. Thunderstorms cause pollen and mold particles to fragment and easily penetrate into the respiratory tract, causing severe coughing and difficulty breathing, which is a group attack. People with allergies should pay attention to the pollen index, reduce outdoor activities and close doors and windows. News highlights NVIDIA announced the next-generation Rubin CPX chip, which uses a dual-chip architecture to handle pre-fill and decoding tasks respectively, greatly improving AI computing efficiency and long scenario reasoning capabilities, and is expected to be launched by the end of 2026. This chip is equipped with liquid cooling and supports ultra-large token processing, which will make AI a practical tool in program development, video generation, and agency tasks, and Taiwanese manufacturers such as Delta, Shuanghong, and Kiong will benefit from supply chain business opportunities. News highlights the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics announced that CPI increased by 2.9% year-on-year and PPI increased by 2.6% year-on-year in August, indicating that food and energy prices have risen, but companies have absorbed some of the impact of tariffs, and inflationary pressure is limited. Stagnant job growth, rising jobless claims, and unexpected weakening of PPI led to the market expecting the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates on the 17th to boost the economy, and U.S. stocks rose in response. News highlights the Financial Supervisory Commission conducted a stress test at the end of 2024 on 38 national banks and all life insurance companies, and the results showed that 3 banks and 5 life insurance companies had not passed the test and had to propose capital increases, bond issuance, or asset liability improvement plans, and major shareholders were under pressure to increase capital. The overall banking and insurance industry still meets the legal capital standard under severe circumstances, indicating that the financial system is resilient to sufficient pressures. News highlights: Nepal blocked 26 unregistered social platforms, causing large-scale riots. Local Taiwanese tourist tour buses were intercepted, independent travelers' hotels were destroyed, and luggage was suspected of being stolen. The Tourism Administration said that a total of 47 passengers from the two groups have returned to Taiwan safely, and the representative office of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in India has provided assistance, but the journey is thrilling and seriously affected. News highlights: the election of the chairman of the Kuomintang is heating up, and Fu Kunkai, the head of the Legislative Yuan Caucus, said that he intends to run for election, but he has because in 2009, he left the party to run for Hualien County Mayor and was expelled from the party, which may not be qualified. Fu said that it has not yet been decided. Hou Longbin was also named to run for election, but emphasized that he voluntarily left the party and was not qualified. The party's views on the qualifications of candidates are polarized, and the election pattern is chaotic. News highlights: in May last year, a 24-year-old man surnamed Zhang was suspected of killing his wife, mother-in-law and 3-year-old stepson due to a money dispute. The National Court recently heard the case, and the results of the psychiatric evaluation at National Taiwan University Hospital showed that Zhang Nan only had severe gambling addiction and no mental illness. The family of the deceased hopes that the court will sentence him to death and seek justice. News highlights: the city government has punished and transferred it to the Prosecution and Investigation Office many times this year, and the perpetrator has been detained. The Economic Development Bureau, the Environmental Protection Bureau, the Land Administration Bureau and other units have issued a total of 1,430 yuan in fines, and strengthened joint inspections, set up surveillance cameras, and prevented illegal backfilling of waste. The city government emphasized that it will continue to crack down on illegal mining, cooperate with prosecution and investigation, and urge the central government to amend the law to include criminal responsibility. News highlights today, 12th. The whole of Taiwan is mainly cloudy to sunny, with occasional brief showers in Taitung and Hengchun, and a high probability of local thunderstorms and local heavy rain in the western half and mountainous areas in the afternoon. The high temperature during the day is 32-35 degrees, and the central and northern parts can reach more than 36 degrees. The next week will continue to be hot, with high temperatures reaching 37 degrees over the weekend. September is still an active typhoon period, and tropical disturbances are likely to form in the eastern Philippines and off the eastern coast of Guam on the 16th and 17th, and may approach Taiwan around the 22nd, so pay attention. News highlights: recently, there have been rumors on the internet that counterfeit Taipower and paper water bill fraud have exploded as fake news, and the 165 anti-fraud hotline and Taipower confirmed that they have not received any relevant cases. Official text messages do not include links, and you should be vigilant if there is any abnormality in the email or phone number, and do not click on unknown links to prevent being deceived. News highlights: an office worker transferred money to his other accounts but was frozen by the bank, and the bank staff even questioned, "What is your relationship with yourself?" Set off heated discussions among netizens. Experts pointed out that this type of freezing is mostly due to fraud prevention policies, and for abnormal transactions or long-term unused accounts, you need to go to the branch to unlock them in person. News highlights: the 37-year-old mainland actor Yu Hazy became popular for dramas such as The Promotion of the Crown Princess and 3 Lives, 3 Worlds and 10 Miles of Peach Blossoms, and fell to his death in Beijing in the early morning of September 11, and the police ruled out a criminal case. After the news was confirmed by the studio, it caused condolences from the entertainment industry and fans, and many CO actors posted condolences, expressing their shock and reluctance. News highlights: Lulu and Chen Handian announced the good news of their marriage, and Lulu's sister shared her sister's mood of calling late at night to talk about life events, and humorously said that she would protect her sister. Lulu also responded with "I love my sister the most," showing the deep sisterhood, and netizens sent blessings and touched messages. News highlights: artist Zhang Zuping accused her ex-boyfriend Gong Yiting of sexually assaulting and secretly filming, and filed a complaint with the Shilin District Prosecutor's Office accompanied by a lawyer on the 11th. Gong Yiting denied sexual assault, saying the accusations were untrue. News highlights: according to a poll by the Taiwan Public Opinion Foundation, 42% of the people agree that Kay Wen's case is a wrongful imprisonment as they say, 38% disagree, 61% of Kuomintang supporters agree, and 96% of People's Party supporters agree. Another 54% of the people are dissatisfied with the performance of the Beijing Procurator's Investigation Office, and all districts in Taiwan are one-sided, indicating that public support for the Beijing Procurator's handling of this case is low. News highlights: after the central bank's 7th wave of selective credit controls in September 2024, the housing market in Zhuangbei cooled down, and apartments in New Taipei Protein District fell significantly, with the Three Gorges District falling by more than 11% year-on-year, and Lingkou, Yingge, Zizi, and Wuge falling by 2% to 4%. Taipei's egg yolk districts such as Zhongzheng and Songshan are consolidating, and experts remind that transactions of older houses and apartments Without elevators need to be cautious.